Okay, let's tackle this one and solve by completing the square. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to move the c value. Now you can either leave the c value on the same side isolated, or you can move it to the other side. Both ways will work. So you could get 3x squared plus 6x, okay, leaving our space, and then keep your minus 42, okay, equals 0. That's one way to take a look at it. Or you can move it to the other side, which would be 3x squared plus 6x equals 42. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and choose to move it to the other side. And now before completing the square, I'm going to look for a greatest common factor. So 3x squared and 6x, they both are going to share that 3. So I need it, in order to complete the square, I need to make that leading coefficient 1. So if I factor out a 3, that'll leave me with x squared plus 2x. Now let's go ahead and complete the square. So completing the square is b divided by 2 squared. So our b value is 2 divided by 2 squared. And recall that whatever we add to one side, we have to add to the other. But we factored out that 3, so this would be 3 times b divided by 2 squared. Now, if you're keeping it all on the same side, okay, just make sure that you add the 3 times 2 over 2 squared. Now we'll factor that to create our perfect square trinomial. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 1 squared is 1. So that'll give us 3x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 42 plus 1 times 3 is 3. As we do our factoring, this would be 3 times the quantity of x plus 1 squared will equal 45. So now we've completed the square and we've written our perfect square trinomial. Now it's time to go ahead and solve from this point on. So the first thing I'm going to undo is our multiplication by 3. So our inverse operation is to divide. That'll give us the quantity of x plus 1 squared equals 15. To undo the square, we're going to take the square root. So that'll result in x plus 1 equals the positive and the negative square root of 15. Since 15 is an irrational number, we'll go ahead and leave it as a radical. My last inverse operation to isolate x will be to subtract 1 from both sides, leaving us with x equals negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 15. You can leave your answer as this, or if we put it in our calculator and we're going to round to the nearest hundredth, if we do negative 1 plus the square root of 15, we get x equals 2 and 87 hundredths. If we take negative 1 minus the square root of 15, we get negative 4 and 87 hundredths. So we can look at our zeros both ways from completing the square.